Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Welcome back, everyone. This is your girl, Lexus T, coming to you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. I love saying that for many, many years. Thank you for all who have been with us on this journey, who are coming on this journey, who have been supporting and the downloads and the listens and the thousands and multi-thousands and hundreds and ones and twos of you. I don't want to just throw out big numbers, but that's what it's been. Hundreds of thousands of listens and downloads. I don't even know, copulating to maybe a million by now. I don't know. I'm just saying. Since 2016, let's keep going. 10 years now. But this is Lexus T with the Real Double Dose channel and Flip the Switch in your life, as well as Lex Effect and many other things that come into that with the authority and spotlight in your life. So I want to speak to everyone on here, and no matter where you're starting from, if you've ever heard me, if you're just listening to this now, this message is for you. Now, hopefully you don't have the kind of scroll and move, but this message is for you. And many people are trying to get attention based on what they want the attention to be on from you. But I want your attention to be on you from what your journey is about to be. So hear me out. What your story is actually worth, right? That's the topic of this conversation, my beloveds. And there's something I've been sitting with lately. And honestly, it started from just watching people, just watching. Because here's what I've noticed, and I know you've probably seen it too. We will spend money on like everything except ourselves. We'll upgrade the car, get the bag, book the trip, refresh the wardrobe. Como tú sabes, yeah. Or handle everything on the side. But when it comes down to the thing that would actually change the trajectory of our life, the investment that would multiply everything else we're already carrying, we pause, we second guess, and we tell ourselves, we'll get it later, right? And I know that for a fact. Now, I'm the person to buy those things for other people and do such and such, and I literally would spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 8K on someone else or something's else or people's else. Not mission filled and purpose driven, but that, and I would procrastinate even spending $25 to $50 on myself. Point in case where I just got into 8 surgeries, and that was, barely ending the last few days of 2024 into the whole year of 2025, which we're just jumping into March now of 2026. I'm still recovering, still learning how to walk, still learning how to move my muscles, everything. 8 surgeries back to back, and the horrendousness of being in the hospital for about a month. Yes, even though it was the most famous hospital, #1 hospital rated in the world, I just got to say, I felt that too. Even that, it doesn't even have to be financially sound. It's you putting your health behind, you putting down when you should eat lunch to not have low glucose or to not feel weary or feel your anxiety and keep pushing yourself. Those things matter just as much, okay? So I just want to make sure they're out there for you. And I want to be clear, okay, that is not a money problem. That is an identity problem, beloveds, okay? Ladies, gentlemen, people, journey, old, new, young, whatever you want to say, if you're still alive, we're still young in this life. That is not a money problem. I repeat, okay? And I believe when I heard it from back in the time, I don't know if it was originally from the past, late Jim Rohn, to Mr. Tony Robbins himself, but I heard it some time. I mean, I heard Tony like maybe barely a handful of times throughout the years, but it has been refreshing when people have brought it over to me. If you don't know who that is, Google it. Just saying. But I remember I heard a segment or a statement he has said about people. It's not about how many resources you have, it's how resourceful you are. And I was thinking, man, yeah, it's true. It hit me. And I'm like, man, I got a lot of resourcefulness and resources to do them. And I can make that happen, right? So I'm just saying that is an identity problem. It's not the money problem. Okay, per se. I'm saying not for every one single situation. Oh, Lex, if I had it right now, I would do it. Hey, you got to dig deep. I mean, even for me, when I had to dig deep, I had to go look for things. I was scared of even applying for a credit card, just already seeing the no come, like, oh, your credit's not established. Not from the bad side of things. And hey, if you're going through it, there's other ways to get better. But I'm saying, like, even that. So when it happened, where it's like, hey, you're approved for this, and offer after offer after offer, I'm like, whoa, I doubted myself so much. Just different things, right? Even believing a dress won't fit you, or believing a person that's not interested in you because you see someone on IG, for example, that you think looks better than you. It might be that, but that is an identity problem. So over the years, I had the privilege of sitting across from some extraordinary people in rooms that most people would never get invited into, and in rooms that most people would never choose to be in. So prison ministry will do that for you. It strips everything down to what's real and raw. That's just one of them, right? Meeting many people in different spaces of conversations they never even had with themselves, let alone somewhere else or openly with their spouse, whoever. It was an honor and a privilege, and I hold that with respect and sacredness. And in both places, okay, whether I was sitting with someone with titles and a team behind them, or sitting with someone counting down the days until a door would open, I kept hearing the same thing, just in different voices. I didn't think my story mattered. I repeat, I didn't think my story mattered. And every single time, okay, I'm just saying, listen, every single time, the moment that person shared it anyway, everything shifted. Not just for the person listening, for the one who spoke it, right? There's something that moves in a person when they finally understand that, like, what they've walked through, okay, wasn't just for them. It was for someone who is still in it, all right? Going through it, moving. Someone who needed a way out, a way forward, a way up. Yes, up. And they needed to see it was possible first. That's what it is. That's what authority actually is. And I need us to sit here for a second, because this word gets misused all the time. All right, it does. Authority is not a title. All right, beloveds. It's not a polished platform. It's not the version of you that you're going to present to the world once you finally feel ready. Trust me, I know. Because that day keeps moving and moving and moving and moving. Authority, authority is the totality of who you are, the experiences, the scars, the wisdom earned in hard seasons, the grace that kept you standing when you had no business still being upright. You heard that. That is a thing. That is what people need access to. And what God put in you, that was not an accident. That was and is an assignment. All right. That's not an accident. That was an assignment. You might go, oh, I've been through so much stuff. How could that be? All of that to get to here. I asked the same questions. Did I have to go through all of that to get to here? And I look at every meticulous little thing. I will save pins and coat hangers and pieces of papers and rubber bands, just even down to that, or even a piece of shard from a cut off from a cloth. Hey, somebody might need it, and it come true. Someone might need this paper clip, and it came true. And I always had it ready. It's just that the kind of person God made me. And that was not an accident. I used to think I was just too over meticulous, too careful. That's the assignment for who was assigned to. So when we talk about stepping into your authority, your voice, your story, your truth, we're not talking about building a brand for the sake of visibility. No, we're done with that hashtag, look at me. All right. We could just say hashtag, I got the authority, hashtag, listen to my story, hashtag, this is who I am, hashtag, this is where I am, hashtag, you got a story that's going to be built off of mine, hashtag, no more solicited garbage that's put out here from people who just slap together. Now, don't get me wrong. I love AI. I love AI in so many different ways. I think it's phenomenal. And people who utilize it the right way and understand why it was built, right? It doesn't make itself that way. A human has to control what it's used for. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it's, a point of getting to where you feel your journey has to go when it comes down to it. But when it comes down to understanding what that is, right? So the visibility era, right? Instead of having to get yourself out there and do all this other stuff, bouncing back to AI, now you can have something to help you. You can have a journey get there. You can have more syndication done. there's a lot of stuff, and I had to bring that up because some people just add that in where they're like, oh, well, I'm like, at the end of the day, move with whatever tools and resources you have. Move with what you have to do and the flow of what comes along with that, right? It's not talking about building a brand for the sake of visibility. We're talking about stewarding something sacred, something that was placed in you on purpose, for a purpose, before you even understood what you were like carrying. So you were made for more than compensating, more than filling the silence with the next purchase or the next distraction or the next thing that feels like progress, but leaves you exactly where you started. You were made to be a resource, right? To be the thing someone else finds when they're running out of options and out of time. The world doesn't need your perfection, beloveds. It never did. It needs your presence. And that's what it comes down to. There are spaces being built right now, intentionally with precision, for voices exactly like yours. Like, not to just be seen, but to be heard in a way that leaves a mark, to create impact that outlasts the moment and becomes a movement. So at RDDC, we're putting a spotlight on authority, real authority, the kind that was forged in your story, refined through your process, and it's ready to serve someone who is waiting for exactly what you carry, right? If that's landing somewhere in you right now, we want to talk to you about it because your story deserves more than a footnote. It deserves a spotlight. All right. So at the end of the day, when people tell me about what's going on with him,
You don't need to be famous to be powerful. You don't need a perfect life to inspire. Sometimes the story that changes everything is the one you almost kept to yourself. Story to Blessings exists for that exact reason. This is a global storytelling experience created by Real Double Dose Channel, where real voices are shared with intention, integrity, and impact. You submit your story once. Audio if you want privacy, video if you want connection. No interviews, no pressure, just your truth. Curated and released through RDDC's broadcast and syndication network. Your story becomes part of something bigger, a movement, a message, a legacy. And yes, you're blessed in return. Participants receive a Travel with Blessings package, including a multi-night travel voucher, plus hotel and restaurant savings, over $3,000 in value. But more than that, you gain alignment with a platform that opens doors, future opportunities, expanded reach, invitation reserved for people who show up with intention. This isn't about being seen, it's about being heard. If you feel called to share, if you know your story carries healing, Story to Blessings is waiting. Your story, your blessing, your legacy. We'll see you on the flip side.
when I hear what is the authority spotlight, for example, is what's the next steps look like for this journey, or the moment that I realized my own story was an asset, not a liability, right? The stories I've heard from people from the outside to the brothers and sisters behind the wall in prison and their outreach ministries, or a past broadcast guest that moved me. So many guests I've had in the past or I've encountered on other platforms of theirs have moved me with their amazing stories, especially Kathy Tuckerow, and Suzanne Zumo. I want to say the name so right, Dr. Yamilet Williams. I want to say it like properly, and I know my brain has that. I'm not going to just blame it on anesthesia brain from before, still going through my system lingering. But just different ones. I just almost forget that I'm even on here listening. I feel like I'm speaking to them in a cafe with a warm toasted cinnamon bun or something, just listening to them. And I forget to actually even just, I'm back on hey, everybody, we're on here, we're here. Though it's that moment. It's every story from a person telling me how they got to the road behind the walls, what was going on in their house and their life. And that's why a lot of us watch stories now. We listen to the stories now. We sit there and we hear, even on the YouTube channel, wherever you're listening, you're like, man, that was deep. It could be mystery files or true crime or, unfortunate stories. But, people like, I think it's called Delafe, if I'm not wrong. I don't want to say it wrong, but they have different testimonies on there, just different conversations, even looking at people's life and stories, even in, I think it's called the Scholler family, or the Schollers, where they have a little daughter. I don't like to say adopted daughter, but, their little daughter, Tiana. And I believe I want to say his name is John, not Sean, but I think it's John and Rihanna. I mean, it's not a promotion. It's something that I love their network of family and their journey. That's a story that they tell, even from when they go buy their groceries. It's a story. Everyone loves to hear and read a story, whether it's Pixar or Disney. It's a story, the true story, the in-depth, the storyline. Even when you see these big broadcasts go and they're opening up a new thing in Google or a new technology or, anything they have, they always start with a story. A TEDx, it's a story. It's a movement. So what makes you think yours is not important? Who has told you that yours does not make the mark? Well, I just learned how to make a blueberry pie and I saved my marriage. Well, somebody wants to know about that. Somebody needs to know about what made you make that blueberry pie. What were you thinking when you picked the berries? What happened after you got in there? What transitioned? How did you make it? What were you thinking when you put it in the oven? And what did you set the oven timer to? What happened when you shared that slice of pie? Okay. Oh, I just created like one of my other, I don't say past clients, but friends, clients, life. I mean, I see them more and beyond that, but how they got a chance to meet their spouse, right? How they met their wife, opening up their furniture shop, looking for wood in different kind of donation areas, going to recycling bins, getting hit with rusty nails in their foot, all kinds of stuff. That's interesting. And you might not think, well, who? Not to me. Well, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, there's plenty of fish in the sea, as my abuelita, my grandma, used to say, and her spirit always says. I think it's interesting. And let's put it this way. You're going to have at least a minimal of 1,000 people. They say 1,000 people is your secure tribe. Even if you have 20,000 followers, the 1,000 solidity are going to be those. And guess what? Even 100 could carry you. And you can fuel back into them. That's why we have Travel with Blessings as well, to give those vacation incentives and vouchers for people who really need them, who don't want to come out more of their way to do so. You can bless those. We're all about blessings and leveling up. My story has become your story. Your story has become mine. Your journey, we're all connected. We're all fueling it. And I can't wait to have more masterminds for me to jump back from what all life has done, all that I've been through, and the 8 surgery. People want to know what it looks like, what happened. I mean, they're truly interested. Even a gentleman came by that asked us about new windows and siding. And I'm like, oh, I'm recovering from 8 surgeries. And, oh, what happened? And I'm like, well, maybe he's just a little curious or nosy. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, explain, like a shark bite, huge. And they're like, whoa. And it just went on to like 30 minutes. And he realized, oh, I'm at work, But it's still the point. And back and forth, I learned about his wife and his children and his, the problems they had with, I believe, having children. So it was an exchange of that mirroring system. It was an exchange of being able to talk to someone about that. And that's what brings the authority to where you are. So when you want to know about the spotlight is exactly shining the light on where it belonged from the beginning. And even though, excuse me, tongue tied, mud has shadowed that, fog or rainy days. It was all built to fortify you where you're going. Whether it's a story to your blessing, which we have story to blessings, whether it's the path where you feel, it doesn't matter, does it? If it could be something that's sitting out here evergreen, that your child, your family, your friend, someone could go and just learn about that, almost like your card, your signature, your imprint, your voice in this life, it matters that much. And I think about that too, especially in the hospital bed. What would I want to have for my child if they couldn't get to know me, if they needed more about me, if they needed to know what I stood for? Not fake integrity, real God-centered, fortified truth, integrity. And even though we have flaws as a human system, you're going to like this next one. Okay, basically what it looks like to be a Christian, right? Like it has really deep down. I don't even remember the title of it, but basically what the personified is, and maybe this will help you with it as well. But if you know you're on that journey, it'll help you if you believe you're in that category of what you embrace in God, what you embrace in His Son that came to die for us, what you embrace in the journey of. And whether you say, "Oh, I'm not religious," it's not about that. It's about spirituality. It's about understanding where the beginning is and recognizing respect to it. Because disrespecting anything that gives you life and breath this day is only going to lead to your downfall. We have to harness what we are, putting the spotlight on your journey, your message, having your story turn into many more blessings, not just the people down the street at the coffee shop, people. And that's beautiful. But that story will expand in little fragments to someone, but it's not going to leave an imprint legacy on what we are now. And that's digital currency. That's life currency. And it can reach hundreds, thousands, or millions of people now within a matter of days, weeks, and some people even hours. Don't let your moment stand by because you do not know the worth and the quantity and the measure of your story to bring that authority spotlight to what it is from the message that God gave you, specifically you, to go through and carry through and go on to sharing that message, being a part of it. Because let's be real, if we didn't have the scriptures or anything else to read right now, we didn't have any kind of breadcrumbs left in this life, even from the hieroglyphics to the ancient marks, whatever it might be, we would be really, really lost and feeling very empty. And sometimes a word of just passing somebody in the streets, in the calle, saying, "Hey, you look very wonderful today. Hey, I hope you have a blessed day. You know, your hair, your cologne smells good. Your hair looks really nice. Oh, compliments when your nails look wonderful." That's a story to them. "Well, yeah, I got my nails done last week and boom, boom, boom. And it was a catastrophe, but yeah, these turned out real nice." You hear the whole story. And I remember my love had told me, he said, "I noticed how you can walk in a room and speak to someone, say one or two words, and their life unfolds." That's the oracle effect of what God gave me. Lex and the oracle, okay? The oracle is what God uses. Lex is the level of the person and the legality, close, connected to me. But it is both fused into one. I really care. I really want to know. I desire that. It's not a hallmark moment. It's a Hall of Fame moment for you. Not to be out here on social media and just feel like, "Oh, is anybody looking at my numbers?" It's not vanity metrics. There's not. Okay. I would say my beloved. It's tongue twisting is getting me. I need to just recap a little bit. So I'm just saying it's not about that. That comes along with the territory. Absolutely. Down the line, you move strategically and the way you should flow without stressing it and do what you do. But having that, it's not about someone liking you today and forgetting your page tomorrow. It's about making sure when anybody indexes or thinks of a thought, just like that poem from Marianne Williamson, I believe it was called Our Deepest Fear. That still, even though that was played on the movie Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson at the time, some years back, it still was. It was played on, I forgot the young man's name who said it, but it still resonates. Even when you read it online, even when you read it. I mean, just her poem resonated and you knew her name. And if you didn't remember her name was in the message of that poem that she gave. That's how deep it is. Maya Angelou, right? The greats, I have Martin Luther King. Even so, you still feel that. It's still that. I have a dream. I had a dream. This is the dream. So this is your girl, Lexus T. I want to say happy, love, blessings. I don't know, but I am having the Lex Effect, AFFECT YouTube channel. I have my videos getting ready, rolling out soon, and I will be having those links on our website at www.realdoubledosechannel.com. Okay, and www.realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, getting updates and everything else throughout the time. And also don't forget to check out something we have rolling out, which is the Ari Lex Sound House. And that is ARIE-LEX Sound House with some amazing artists that are coming out there, God-centered. I am rooted in God and beyond different things. You'll see it on the blog, on the website. Moving forward, we're hitting it all because there's nothing holding back. And if it took me to realize that even more, the powerhouse that's there, not about having 20, 30 guests come on every month, don't know where we're coming or going, just trying to look important. It's about putting the spotlight on those who are really trying to make sure their word and the fruitfulness of what they were given here is important, is, put in that moment, is stewarded the best way possible, is healthily put out there, who's not dropped off the map and gone tomorrow with another person replacing their voice, but who is going to be a continual voice, who's going to move in that moment and understand where that stands. If you have to replay this 100 times, please do so, because it's going to be all over your face, in your face, everywhere you go, because now you understand that your authority is in the moment. The RDDC Authority Spotlight Experience is waiting for you, and you can check that out wherever we are. That's what we stand for right now. On these many, many other things is always going to be fortifying what we have to go through, what we have to do, okay? Whether it be the Lex effect, whether it be the God identity, it's going to be so robust. All you're going to feel is nothing but enlightenment, empowerment, connection to God, understanding you are the breath that's walking, that God put in to the dust that God formed. Understanding that. And it's beyond reading just the pages of the beautiful Bible, sitting in a church pew or hearing what you should wear, what you should eat to look like something that nobody else doesn't even know what represents. It's about understanding that. And once you understand the authority within yourself, once you understand the assignment and the authority that God put in your life, once you embrace that, you are going to be a light shining unto others, as well as you might feel some regrets. You might be like, man, I could have did this a long time ago. Wow. But now you don't have to live in that distortion anymore. So this is a public service announcement. As Mr. Myron Golden, Uncle Myron Golden says, I'm just saying, this is community service to all of us we should give out there. This is love, peace, and blessings for you to be the change, really. Feel the passion, truly, and embrace the power of the Spirit that God has instilled within all of us. Absolutely. All right. So no matter what, I will see you on the flip side. We love you. You're amazing. And God willing, I'll be back with you very soon with your authority and more right around the corner.